Okay, thank you for being here in this last session for today, and it's the extended reality session. As before, we're going to have 6 papers, and there's going to be 10-minute time slot for each presentation and 5 minutes for questions. So please feel free to ask any of your burning questions, but you could also talk to the authors afterwards. So first up, we're going to have the two authors presenting their project, and those are Chueh-Fu and Mahōo Tseng. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Chueh-Fu and this is Mahōo Tseng. We are from National Tsinghua University in Taiwan. Today we are excited to share with you our paper, Mahōo, an emotive narrative tool for weather-related emotion, reframing through XR interaction and tangible experience. Let's begin with the question. Have you ever felt after getting in the rain, you just suddenly feel annoyed, or when it rains all day, you feel lazy or tired? As for us, this happens all the time. And one day I was in a pretty bad mood, and I thought, wait, was it because of the rain? When I shared this case with people around me, many they feel the same way. So I started paying attention to how the weather might influence our emotions. We first found the study showing that sunlight and humidity affect focus and mood, which fits our intuition. But other study has proposed the weather matrix concept, describing the weather conditions influence our behavior and emotion through the complex ways. And later study also revealed the factors such as season, lifestyle, and region, and how people are used to interpreting the weather also play a role. These perspectives combines to reflect on how the weather emotion is constructed through images and narratives. And so this brings us to the core question of our research. In the age of immersive media, how could an embodied artistic experience reshape the connection between weather and emotion? Then we decided to create an artwork that could bring this idea to life. And that project is called Mahōo. The name of our project combines several layers of meaning. Ho, the Taiwanese word for rain, and the Japanese term Mahōo meaning magic. It also echoes the Taiwanese phrase Mahōo. It means also good, well, it's fine. And with this name and with our embodied XR interaction design, we want to challenge the common idea that rainy days always means bad moods. And when we were designing Mahōo, we looked into research in psychology and interaction design to see how event interpretation, emotion, and the body movement are all connected. On the cultural side, singing in the rain is a great example of how a rainy day can actually be turned into creative energy. And this inspires us to focus on embodied interaction as a way to regulate emotions. So how did we put this idea to our project? We started with something simple and familiar, the umbrella. While there have been other umbrella or rain-theme interaction works before, Mahōo takes it further. We use the umbrella as a perceptual interface where your bodily movement drives the story, triggers environmental changes, and lets you interact with a virtual character. So rain becomes more than just weather. It turns into an emotional and symbolic experience. And now we are going to play a highlight reel from Mahōo's demo. And now Boy will continue from the next part.
Thank you. Our umbrella flower is inspired by the so-called skeleton flower. It becomes translucent when getting wet. In the real world and the gloomy virtual city, it is simply an ordinary umbrella connecting the inside and outside environment of the experience. Then in the magic world, the umbrella turns into a blossom. Spinning and opening it summons clouds and rain. And at the end of the narrative, it becomes a dance prop, encouraging our participants to express and reinterpret their sentiments toward the rain. And with visuals, sound, and controller vibrations, these put people deeper into the experience without words. The spirit's character communicates by simple gesture, eye contact, and a playful voice, serving as an emotional guide, as early research suggests. The spirit's participants mirror its movements, such as spinning or opening the umbrella and dance in the rain. They become part of the performance, which helps them feel differently about the rainy weather. And here's how we made this happen. We mounted a sensor on the umbrella's frame and used the controller to track its movement. Whenever it rains virtually, Unity trigger controller vibrations to simulate raindrops striking the umbrella canopy. When the participants' responses showed us that it was a convincing tactile experience. And this diagram shows the data flow of this project. When users open or spin the umbrella, Unity triggers matching visuals, sounds, and haptics, thereby enhancing the sense of immersive interaction. The real test came when we brought it to the public. At Lavo Virtual 2025, we collected 60 comments from 129 experience sessions. The feedback clustered into 3 layers. Over half the comments found the project to be cute or adorable. The participants ranged from high school students to senior citizens coming from multiple countries, showing cross-age and cross-cultural appeal. Second, the experience reliably evoked positive emotions like joy and hope. And 10 comments captured the most striking shift, saying that they could now enjoy rainy days. Taken together, these voices suggest the potential of immersive XR to reframe emotional response to rain. In conclusion, our project Mahōo reframes our emotional experience of weather through embodied interaction and narrative in XR. With an umbrella flower interface, mundane rain is now a symbolic and performative act guided by a spirit character. Mahōo shows how gloom can be reseen as vitality, offering a new path to emotional resilience as a cultural interface. Thank you for being the part of this journey. We would like to hear your impression and feedback.
Any questions? Okay, when we're waiting for questions, I might just make a comment. When I was looking at it, I was also thinking, I think that would really change my mind about the rainy days. It was very, very cute. Yeah, that's the word. Did you do any analysis on what type of character to build and what kind of sounds to use to elicit such strong emotions of cuteness and adorableness?
Okay, so first of all, while building this character, we have several drafts. This is the 3rd version of our character, and while building the modeling, and we kind of see through everything, and also getting feedbacks from different participants and also the people around us. So this is the way we think of the cuteness, that universal cuteness. is that having big eyes like infants, like child, that gives like a sense of adorable sounds and everything like that. And then also about the sound design, we have another classmate, and unfortunately she's not here today. And she managed the sound design using several different kind of instruments that remind her of the raindrops and the kind of refreshment of the weather. And so we use the kalimba, I think it's called kalimba instrument, and also a piano and piano in the sound design. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's very nice. Yeah, we have one question over there.
Okay.
Thank you for the talk. I have a question concerning the narrative structure of the experience. I see the interaction, and is there something like a story arc within the experience that you go through from beginning to end, or is it more just like the interaction?
Okay. Our experience, it's like in a three themes narrative. The first one is you appear in a gloomy virtual city, like it's raining, super dark, and you kind of feel the, let's say, uneasiness toward the weather. And then suddenly you see a puddle, and then it just recalls you and recalls you to the magic world. And then there's our little spirits, like inviting you to cast spells, to kind of to having like a really great, let's say,
memory to make a
great memory toward rain, and also dancing in the rain together. And at the end, the last scene of it is you come back to the to the gloomy city, but you found that there's so many things to watch, like the flowers. It's glowing back into the reality. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Sounds good.
We have time for maybe another question, if there is one. If not, we're going to move to our next speaker. Okay, thank you so much. An applause for the authors again. Okay, and the next speakers will be Sebastian Grundherr, Selina Beers, and Simone Feldbacher, if you can join us.
So, hello and welcome to our presentation about our paper and our interactive project called Divine Machinery, making the transhuman experience tangible. So it is like an interactive installation based in the Salzamt right now. You can check it out later if you want. And now I'm going to show you a short video to give an overview about what the experience is about.
When you look into the light of my heart, did it blind you to what I could become? Did you think yourself safe from the divine ruin you built? Safe? Or maybe?
So, as you might have seen, it is like an embodiment of a physical AI. So we built like an angelic figure, which should represent artificial intelligence. And we chose this topic because it's very controversial and relevant right now, especially in our field, being artists and programmers ourselves. And yeah, the interaction from the users happens through touch. Because users can interact by touching the angel's hands to choose an answer. based on the question that is given. And yeah, these interactions, these inputs, all trigger different things in the room, in the experience. For example, the lights, the sounds, the voice of the figure, and also the upcoming dialogue. And our central question was, how can we make machine interaction more emotionally immersive? So yeah, the main thing is that this installation features an inputs that are not like typical for inputs with an artificial intelligence, because it's mostly based through text inputs or voice inputs sometimes, and we in our installation we use like touch inputs, which is like different. And yeah, it is like a hybrid form of an angel and a human and a machine. And all the visuals, they explore the topic of transhumanism. And yeah, that's
fine.
I'm sorry, the slides are a bit switched around, I'm sorry. And yeah, the aesthetics were influenced by cyberpunk, particularly Ghost in the Shell.
Thank you. Yes. Quickly, one more thing to the visuals. We wanted to make something that looked powerful yet fragile, mechanic yet organic, and most importantly, human but not human. And we achieved this through a combination of mannequin limbs, 3D printed elements, and exposed computer hardware. And the piece of the installation where this philosophy is most apparent is the face of the angel. And we wanted complete control over the look of the face, so we did not use the face of the mannequin we deconstructed, but sculpted the face in ZBrush and then 3D printed it, as well as the spine and the chest area with the monitor. The decision to use an angelic figure was central to the work's framing, because in our context, the angel operates as a metaphor for machine intelligence. While angels in theology serve as the messengers and agents of divine will in our divine machinery installation, they represent artificial entities created by humans. Although the installation positions humanity in the role of the creator and the machine in the role of the angel, the initial positions of creator and creation slowly shift during the duration of the scenario, because in the beginning the angel still recalls its creation and talks to the spectators about it. The tone shifts towards the end of the experience as the angel gains more and more agency. The feeling of losing control of one's creation is also emphasized by the fact that the space is much more the angels than it is the spectators. Then to something to the concept and the philosophy. Rudolf Otto is a theologist who explored this idea, called Mysterium Tremendum and Fascinosum, which means that an all-knowing, all-powerful being, even if it is benevolent, can be a pretty scary thing if you think about it. This is where we drew the connection to artificial intelligence, because the large language models of today are not yet intelligent, but in the last years they gave us a glimpse into what it could mean to have something that seems intelligent like a human, or even more than a human, and is not bound by the same constraints as we are. AI is both fascinating and unsettling, like a divine figure, and that's why we wanted to make this obscure thing tangible. And we thought to ourselves, what would happen if this AI or this thing or this being could not only talk to us through a chat function, but stand before us and we could reach out and touch it and it would even respond. Basically what we want to achieve, or what we would invite everyone to do across the Donau and the Salzamt, if you have the time, is to reflect on the human-machine relationship in a new way by being face-to-face with it.
All right. So, sorry.
What I wanted to talk about before is that Divine Machinery is a very immersive experience because the touch of the hands is very personal and very intimate. And we also use very abstract and poetic dialogue, which offers the participants to think about the topics, interpret for themselves what they think about the topics, and also the emotional spectrum of the machine, as Sebastian just said, changes based on the user input, which is also very humanized. And it affects the lights, the sounds, and the visuals in the room. There are 4 screens depicting various animations, and also the voice of the angel shifts from a bit lighter tone to a bit more harsh tone throughout the experience. And also our angelic figure, it remembers the previous interactions and also creates an evolving experience throughout every user.
Okay, now it's my turn. My name is Simone, and I was responsible for the hardware and making it interface with the software that my colleague Florian has developed. So on this diagram, I sort of tried to depict how this installation actually works. So on one hand, we have the input hardware, which is a capacitive sensor, which just reacts to the touch input. So we just wired this to the hands, and every time a user touches it, sort of the resistance in the sensor changes, and we can register that to Unity. And for the output, we used a bunch of different mediums, both auditive and visual, to sort of convey this all-present divine entity. So on one hand, we have the screens, the projector, and the LEDs, as well as sound. Yes, and all of this comes together in the Unity game engine, where we actually manage the dialogue, we process the inputs, and make the decisions on to which part of the spectrum between fascinosum and tremendum the angel actually falls. Then we send these outputs back to the screens and to VVVV, which manages the visuals of the projection. Yeah. And for the emotional state and interaction design, as I already said, this happens in Unity, and all of the dialogue is actually pre-written and not generated on the fly because we wanted to have more control over the storytelling. And we achieved this by building a big dialogue tree where each of the sort of sentences gets chosen based on user input, but also on the previous emotional state of the installation. Yeah. And this results in just multiple dialogue paths, so every experience is different based on how you interact. But it's not just your interaction that shapes the experience, but also the interactions of the people that came before you. So the application actually stores which state we left the installation in when we leave. So we sort of collectively shape the emotional state of the angel. And besides the normal pre-written dialogue, we also have what we call wildcards, which are random events that can happen disrupting the normal flow of the dialogue. And one of these special events actually prompts the user to make a decision to either deactivate the AI or let it continue existing, which in sort of this world that we built with our story would equal killing this being. And based on how many users actually have chosen to kill the AI, we also have further wildcards that mention that in the installation. So to conclude, we did all of this to explore how we can actually have a more emotional engagement with technology and also provoke thoughts on how we not only interact with AI, but also how we feel about it. And for the future, what would be really cool is if we could actually even more expand the sensory feedback, maybe with vibrations, maybe with other things, and also have an even more dynamic dialogue system to really make it seem real. So thank you for listening to our talk. This is our team with all of our socials, and I want to give a special shout out to both Jürgen Hagler and Jeremiah Deepers for helping us making this possible, both the presentation and also the installation. So a big thank you.
Wow, I can't wait to see it. Is there any question from the audience? Yes. There's two questions over there.
Yeah, I already tried your experience in the Salzam. It was very interesting.
Oh, nice.
My question is, was there any AI at least involved in the writing of the story, the answers?
Yes, I can speak to that. Yes, there was. We prompted the AI, I think it was ChatGPT, to write a poem on itself, and we got a lot of answer, and and we chose we took this poem and we chose the lines that spoke to us the most, and reshaped those and incorporated those into the dialogue. So we wanted the AI to have something to say.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
So I've also tried the experience, and the AI has many faces. It can be motherly, it can be godlike, but you always portray it as something greater and mysterious, sort of occult. And I'm asking, do you think that it's possible for us to demystify our view of AI? And is it worthwhile, or should we accept that AI will always seem innately magical and human to us at this point?
So that's actually a great question. I would, just speaking for the team, hope that one day we might be able to demystify AI, because it would just make it a lot more transparent in how it actually works. And also, I feel like it would be a great step. Like, I feel like with a lot of new technologies at the beginning, they always seem like very mystic, but then over time, as they get incorporated into our daily lives, we sort of start to understand how they work. And I feel like that can be very powerful in how we interact with it and not feel subordinate to it, to say, yeah.
I actually have another question. I was interested in the memory effect. What type of data are you storing for the memory effect? So you said that you can, so the AI can recognize previous participant. And the second part of this question is, will you intend to use this data somehow for analysis, or do you have some kind of future plans with this data?
So basically, we talked about having some kind of analysis, but as of now, never got around to it. And the thing that gets stored is two things. It's for one, it's the emotional state of the installation, like as we call it, the tremendum fascinosum scale, which goes from, I think, -3 to +3. -3 means the AI is very more scary, I would say, and +3, it's more like benevolent. And the other value that is stored is how many times it got killed. That is basically the times it gets killed at the Salzamt will be remembered for the next time we present it somewhere else, and that will come up again.
Oops. That can tell some pretty nasty things about humans as well, like how far we're able to go to kill an AI. Is there any other question, maybe from the audience? If not, we're going to move to our next speakers. Thank you so much for the presentation. And our next speaker is Yuan Jiang.
Okay, hello everyone, and let me ask all artistic parents here, and like artistic mom and dad, a quick question about have you kids ever turned your living room walls into their personal cameras with their paintings, with your family's wall? Okay, I think there's a question about that. Absolutely, yes. And I think painting is the talent in children's life, and Today, I'd like to introduce our ongoing research project of the children education and the children mixed reality work. And in this work, we found that children's graphic and drawing can be integrated into the MR and artistic participation with the children themselves acting as the creators. And of course, it's made possible through our prototype tools called the Little Creator. And in our research, I'm showing today focus on the first stage of this research, and especially from the related work from the three-man literature review and related work about the creation and children education and their creativities. And in our research and case study, that means encouraging them not just to create children, but also to revise and improve their artwork. And we believe it's important to teach children how to look crucially at their own work and feel confident making change and based on their sketch and painting. And well, it's also about developing their ability to appreciate and refine visual element. And that means have some case study about the creation and children's paintings, and that means encouraging them not just like to create, but also to rebuild or remake the artwork as the creator in their art participations. And as part of our long-term creative education program from 2018 to 2024, but I have some case from other museums, and we have gained a lot of inspiration, and not only from working directly with children, but also from studying with a wide range of children's museums and exhibitions. And through the process of creation, they learn how to plan and organize, and not just the artworks. And they begin to connect with different elements and take ownership on their own experience. Okay, of course, there are also many exhibitions that like to focus on the organizing and presenting children's work and turning their creation into a creator display. Okay, it's not just about showing the work, it's about helping others understand what children are trying to say through their art, and to understand the potential for integrating creation practice into the art education. We conduct semi-scheduled interview with 11 creator and educator, and 4 professional museum creator. And in this way, we found that 3 points about the creation art teaching and museum-based public art educational activities and children's participation in artist activity, to how children engage with art both in the outside formal educational setting. In this way, of course, there are many exhibitions like focus on the toys, and we found that in mixed reality, we need to design and use a toy to not only sketch. I think many applications use the sketch to use mixed reality, but we also need to find that way to generation their paintings, like the sketch, to the 3D models. Okay. Like our meta used Unity and was without prototype and constraint model enabled. We realized that, and we also partner with the Mesh AI and receive their support in later workshop as we continue with refine and test the prototype. Okay, and here's how the top prototypes works. And first, children create a sketch, and then they add a short description like the express and explain what they are drawn. And finally, they select a spatial viewpoint and spatial expression and upload their work from the perspective. And in this way, we also use the Alibaba Crowd, use upload the picture and use this picture, use the Mesh AI to generation the model. And this process helps guide the children not only draw but also communicate their instinct and design thinking, especially about how their work will be viewed. And at the same time, we also prepare workshop methods and lessons like about the little creator to make the user study phase more engaging and age appropriate for children. And these methods were carefully designed to match children's learning style and make their experience more playful. And like we use the history, biology, and student board. And here show the prototypes to work with the children's painting. And we in the exhibition hall and to use the sketch to generate the model, and then use the model to let them to adjust the sketch. Okay, we recruit the student through the after-school interest class on campus, and 12 children were divided into 2 groups to carry out creation activities. And we also use the Pico 4 Pro headset as their MR headset, and participants are using the knowledge they had again through the creation process, from the thinking about the individual expect details to planning the overall spatial layout. And in this way, the creation thinking directly informs how they create and place their own works in the visual space. So in this group, they use the small tools in MR, and where they collaborate on both the writing and art making. And together, they organize their works in the spatial creation plan and directing how the sketch should be arranged and present in the visual exhibition space. And they are not only creating the artworks, but also creativity, thinking about how to create and how to present their ideas, and as a cohesive exhibition. So we conduct the semi-sketch interview with the 2 groups of the children, so focusing on the setting, question, and show here. And the question explored their prior experience and how they made the creation decision and how they saw the creativity in their works and what they learned from the process, especially as the creation course. And the next step, we also develop this course in the next paper, and we treat the MR tools as a way to engage in artistic passion and the creativity in their art education, just like how other disciplines conduct their experiment. And we introduce the creational education as a method to help students to develop a sense of the space and spatial thinking, design thinking, especially this design thinking. Oh, like some example execute from dragon and bamboo. Okay, and the example like the bonefish or an audience shape in dinosaur toy and highlight how children's blind and with their humor and the storytelling in their creation practice. Okay, finally, we use the analyze to interpret the interview data and identify two main topics that engage from the children's response. And this topic like both how children engage creativity and how they develop creational thinking through the map experience. But it also have the limitation like the lack of research on generation and like the lack of delay as specific for system and real or creational activity. But I think it's like a children practice in art education. Okay, this is a reference, and we're from the MC2 in Hong Kong University of Science and Technologies. And this is Yang, and welcome to contact me with art education and children's participation. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions? Okay, so I might ask you a question. So you mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that you had an involvement of professional curators and also teachers. How was that? How did you use their data to kind of structure your experience?
I think it's like the semi-structure interview, but it focuses on the formative study. And formative studies tell us how to use this talk and use this talk data to design your tools to help the creator, especially from the museum creator to plan some educational work, educational course. Yes, especially the mixed reality tools not only focus on the professional creators' idea, it's also but from especially from the teachers, use the teachers' ideas and especially from the tools to help teachers to organize their course. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. And was there a specific reason that you chose this age group around 10 to 13? Was that intentional, or was that the availability you had?
Sorry, it's the 10?
I think I saw that the age group was roughly from 10 to 13 years of age for the children that participated.
Oh, I think it's random for the two groups. We have another stage research about to use the different group student to organize their visual reality and mixed reality creation process. And different group members have the different power to show their ideas, especially not only from 2 or 3 members in a group. I think it's the next step research. Yes, the first step in our research is about the use the sketch to generalize and to organize their ideas. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one question. Yes, over there.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi again.
Yes.
Great presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
I had one question.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you had 3 different target groups that you sort of designed the tool with. So my question is, were these target audiences, was your method more like a co-design process, or was it more of a participatory design where you chose the ideas that you got from these sessions and then the decision was created by you?
Okay, I think in the formative study, we learn from the creator, teachers, and the professional experience. It's not only focused on their professional ideas, but also we need to find a way to let their toys, especially the children toys, to more focus on their educational costs, especially from this one. I think can organize their tool development and their application to use the Unity or Mesh AI to organize their foundations. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll thank the speaker.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Our next presentation will be given by Rose Bond and Valeria Zen. Sorry.
Hello, thank you for coming. I'm Rose, this is Valeria. We wanted to show you this picture to begin with. This is what a VR theater. A group of people come in, experience it in the headset, the visuals, but the sound comes from 16 speakers attached to the geodesic dome. In its natural state, sound is in essence omnidirectional. There is no non-spatial hearing, yet with the advent of audio recording in the 19th century, that served to confine stereo to mono, and by the mid 20th century, record companies ushered in the stereo experience. Only recently has our capacity to produce full 3D audio environments taken shape. As a new medium, VR is often a single user experience with sound focused on a single headset wearer with a sweet spot. This paper explores the democratization of, whoa, that was two things here. This paper explores the democratization of 360-degree spatialized sound-image collaborations in the Earth to come, which can be described as VR theater and a communal journey into the profound depths of a love poem by Emily Dickinson. Hand-drawn moving images, including a penciled draft of the poem, allow for an excess of animation, while the spatialized human voices of unseen phantom bodies summon absence and a sense of intimacy. Let me give you some project background. Earth to Come was originally developed as a tri-screen projection performance over a week-long residency at the Baryshnikov Arts Center in New York. The process of creating was incredibly improvisational, with composer Inti Figgis Vizueta bringing a one-sheet score, which freed Roomful of Teeth's 8 singers to riff, while Rose Bond, me, the animator director, played the role of VJ, cueing segments of animation on 3 screens suspended above the singers to see what worked. From its inception, the collaboration aimed to turn the tables on traditional movie soundtrack practices. As co-creators, we wanted moments where the sound quiets and the images emerge as paramount, and conversely, times when the screens darken and sound takes the lead. The residency culminated in a live, recorded public performance projection, where the choreography of sound and image became a seamlessly surprising live and fluid exchange. That experience opened the door to an experiment in spatial VR and sound. Experimental filmmakers often favor ambiguity and use polyvalent montage, a style of editing where a single shot or sequence can be interpreted in multiple ways. As a form of montage, such visual ambiguity has power to open a more layered and interpretive approach for nonlinear narrative arcs. Considering that level of openness, media scholar Lily Husbands took special note of poetic points of contact in my work, moments where the interplay of sight, sound, and space come together. It's not together all the time, because of course, if there are times when it comes together, there must be times where they're apart. On editing, Sergei Eisenstein talks about this gap or separation. If it's too wide, we risk losing the artistic intention. Points of contact become choreographed touchstones. In cinematic sound design, we find related phenomenon. First, syncresis, when a sound appears synchronized with the moving image. We all know that sound for movies and whatnot are recorded on the set, is often not used. It's replaced in the studio. Yet we perceive a single image sound event. A second term associated with the audiovisual experience is acousmatic, as in the acousmatic world. In this case, any sound detached from an identifiable source. Massimiliano Borghese explains how these two principles, acousmatic and syncresis, can be used to investigate the interplay of visual and acoustic workings in Earths to come. We might think of improvised music of Room Full of Teeth as acousmatic composition happening behind a curtain where we don't see who's producing the sound. In the headset, we only see the animations. However, this curtain can be pulled up and we are surrounded by floating acousmatic entities, the voices of the performers. These are not strictly causing syncresis, but in many times a synchronization occurs between the image and the sound, and what was acousmatic off-screen sound turns into a diegetic sound attached to the animation. This phenomena that we call an incarnation of the sound source into the visual world is supported and strengthened by spatial audio. The precise location of the three dimensions of sound allows for a syncresis that is based not exclusively on the synchronization of sound and image, but also, and sometimes only, by the spatial position shared by both the image and the sound. If not synchronos, same time, these moments could be thought of as syntopos, same place.
The tension between sound and space are already evident in the Venetian polychoral practice on the 16th centuries, re-emerged in new form during the 20th century as a compositional thought engaged with the emerging possibility offered by the technology. A striking example is Edgar Varèse's poem Electronique, conceived for the Philippe Pavilion in 1958 Brussels Expo, designed by Le Corbusier and acoustically defined by Yannick Xenakis. The pavilion was a multimedia machine where architecture, image, and sound emerged into an unified immersive experience. In the post-war period, the reflection on sound became increasingly intertwined with political and cultural issues related to access and collective participation in musical works. Pierre Boulez viewed technologies and experimentation as a tools for formal renewal and means to promote broader democratization of listening. Boulez's work emphasized the sound specialization, electroacoustic diffusion, and real-time processing were not mere formal resources, but instruments for redefining the relationship between composer, work, artwork, and audience. But with Luigi Nono, this tension intensified. For Nono, listening was not just a right, but an ethical responsibility. His concept of strategy of listening emerged from the awareness that in a society permeated by perceptual indifference, listening becomes an act of resistance. In works like La Fabbrica Illuminata, Nono broke away from the frontal stage and sought a direct relationship with the listener, bringing sound into place of collective suffering and social struggle, like factories, squares, non-theatrical space. However, of this lineage, research topic of the Venice-based Pase Studio, Rose Bond project Had to Come, present in the immersive section of the Venice International Film Festival in 2024, inscribed itself within these trajectories. Her work deepens the dialogue between sound, space, and image, envisioning immersive environment as a site where memory and the future possibility converge, always collective and always collaborative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the audience? There's one question over there.
Could you tell us about how having an audience listen to something together can help them create a group consciousness or perceive of themselves as part of something together?
Yes. One thing that happens is the sound that you hear feels more like acoustic. You feel it in your body, but you also hear the chair movement of people beside you. Sorry. You know, so it's almost like the space is breathing. It's alive. Even when you have really, really nicely engineered earphone things, it's faking you out in terms of where that sound is coming from. In this experience, the sound is more like a natural sound in that it has a source, and although that sound does move.
So you're saying that it's actually a point not to exclude the sounds of the audience, to let them be present.
Exactly. But they find, I will say that it's just the production of the dome, it lends itself to a kind of sort of, I was surprised by that, but a kind of reverent place.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? There's one question by Jürgen there.
It's not a question, it's more a comment that Rose Pond got a honorary mention in the category New Animation Art for the piece. And unfortunately, we cannot exhibit it here at Ars Electronica, but it's still running in Venice, so if you have time, just continue.
It's too bad because it is hard to, it is a little bit hard to describe what makes that. It's a physical experience with the digital, you know, and a combination of the visuals which were created with a pencil, there's just something really human about it that, yeah, and it's a love poem. It's Emily Dickinson. You know, it's in some ways maybe breaking new ground. I'm not sure that's why it was honored here at Ars Electronica, but yeah, it's. Thank you, Jürgen.
Yes, thank you.
It will be also. I left some postcards out here in December. It opens at the Box Centre in Wales. If anybody here is sort of UK based. Plug.
Okay, thank you so much. I think on this note, we're going to conclude this talk. We can thank our speakers again. Thank you. Thanks so much. And our next speaker is Wei Huang.
Hello there. Our submitted paper and this presentation is about our 2024 projection mapping work, Chongqing Forest, located in the city of Chongqing in China. Well, if you don't feel comfortable with that Q in Mandarin spelling, you can replace it with TS, making it Chongqing as well. I am this blue human, Wei Huang. I'm a media artist and researcher and lecturer in Shanghai Institute of Visual Art, contributing to Roy Ascott Studio Advanced Program in Technoedic Arts and Digital Media Department. And the second author, Huang Xuanyang, he cannot make the trip here. He's a PhD student, researcher, artist in Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Guangzhou. And this is a trailer of our projection mapping work. I'm not sure. It's like the sound is not playing. Well,
我希望德光观都不会过期。如果一定要加一个日子的话，我希望它是10000年。
It was one of the 25 works that were accepted into 2024 Chongqing International Light Art Festival.
不晓得从啥子时候开始，在每一个东西上面都会有一个日期。秋刀鱼会过期，肉酱也会过期，连商品房的产权都会过期。我开始怀疑，在那个世界上还有啥子东西是不会过期的。
Okay, when we started creating our work, we set up 2 principles to follow later. The first one is simple and apparent, that the work should respect the physical form of the projected surface. If we treat the surface as a general rectangle canvas, or our work could be played on any TV or monitor, then we would fail to follow this rule. Moreover, from the 3D model of the stage, provided by the festival committee, we noticed that there is a scaffolding grid marked in red supporting the projection surface. Our visual logic should be robustly structuralized when the visual content simultaneously respects the external shape of the projection surface and the underlying scaffolding grid structure supporting the surface. And then we designed this Touch Designer to Unreal Engine workflow. First, in Touch Designer, we used a particle system to generate voxels, or say unit cubes, according to the scaffolding grid. We used noise to add randomness to the voxels rotation. Later on, the voxels attributes, including but not limited to their position, rotation, and scale, are embedded into several textures and shared via spout, which runs real time in graphics memory. And then in Unreal Engine, we use Niagara particle system to grab the voxels attributes from the textures and render all the voxels composing the final image. You can see on the left, it's the particle system rendered in Touch Designer. On the right, that's the final image sending or streaming back from Unreal Engine. In this way, we can leverage both the intuitive control of particles in Touch Designer and the great render quality of Unreal Engine. The voxels not only rotate individually, but also group together to form larger rotating blocks. It starts to look like a sort of a magic cube, which has some sort of intelligence, sort of. And the third kind of rule was that moreover, we converted the voxels' normalized positions to their macro UVs, which is the texture coordinates, right? That the voxels can use to sample a macro texture, fetching their local textures. It's like each voxel fetch a local texture, and they all make up this big picture. And on the left side, that's the macro texture. On the right side, it's the result of fetching the macro texture. Our principle two is a little bit more complicated. We argue that projection mapping must transcend respecting merely the physical morphology of its mapped surface to engage with its sites, even its geographical region, making the mapping even more mapping. Chongqing is often referred to as an 8D mountain city, with vertiginous topography, layered infrastructure, mazy architecture, and montaged urban space. It not only stands out as a spectacular cityscape in China's radical urbanization, but also becomes a magical mediascape in social media network. While there's also another layer of situatedness, many of our team members would describe themselves as digital natives, so a large part of the environment that they inhabit is digital or virtual or symbolic. So we really wanted to create a layer of media situatedness. Immediately, we thought of Wong Kar-wai's film, 1994 film, Chongqing Express, which is literally known as in Sinosphere as Chongqing Forest. It's so famous in Sinosphere for its subtle expression on the emotional alienation in a modern city or an industrialized society. Many of its actors' lines became memes in contemporary Chinese culture, and we selected 4 lines from the film, adapted them to deliver more contemporary experiences after 1994, and structuralized our work into 4 chapters corresponding to the 4 lines, which presented the work as voice-over in Chongqing dialect, nostalgic yet uncanny. Know that Chongqing or Chongqing in the film has no reference to the city of Chongqing. It actually means Chongqing Mansions, a high-density residence building in Hong Kong. Here we are playing with the dislocation and mismatches between the physical and the media situatedness. The chapter intro, if cyberspace ever comes in a can, I hope that can never expires. If it has to have a shelf life, I hope it's 10,000 years. The transformation in cyberspace, the original line expressed a sense of rootlessness in the modern and industrialized society where social structures transform drastically. But the transformations in cyberspace prove even more transient than those of urbanization. Within the flux of digits, information can instantly appear or vanish into thin air. Chapter 1, when did everything start having an expiration date? Swordfish expires, meat sauce expires, even the property rights of commercial housing expires. I'm starting to wonder, is there anything in this world that does not? Where the highlighted part marks the changes we did to the original line. So in this chapter, voxel morphologies transition from cubic units into architectural components, not just textures, but they are models, 3D models, each voxel, enabling the volume to manifest architectural forms that reflect the transformation of buildings and urban texture during China's radical urbanization starting 1978. This voxel appearance manifests the Soviet-style Khrushchevka apartments, which were massively constructed to accommodate growing urban populations since 1960s in China, and also in Soviet Union. Now they are derisively called 老破小, meaning rundown tiny flats, because they have been overshadowed by the post-2000s real estate booms, commodity housing, high-rise, spacious, and structurally comfortable. And the technical approach to these looks is through the mesh array and mesh index in Unreal's particle system. First, in modeling software, we modeled the architecture modules, which are in the same size as a voxel, and assembled those architecture modules into buildings, just like how the prefabricated Khrushchevka units were assembled to make the apartments assemble on site, right? And then in Unreal Engine's particle system, we were able to load different architectural modules onto different particles, and we use a particle index parameter per particle to decide which particle to render which mesh. Also on the back side of each voxel, we created this look of debris safety nets, which is mostly green, fireproof, and very commonly seen on the construction sites in China's radical urbanization. So when the voxels turn their front side to the viewers, we can see the residence building styles from different periods. Turn their back side to the front, we can see an atmosphere of a construction site. And what's more interesting is that by applying noise and masks to control the voxel appearance, we achieve the co-presence of or transitions among Khrushchevka, commodity housing, debris safety nets, and many other voxel appearances from the other part of our work. Chapter 2 is about social media performativity. May loves checking Red Note at 3:54 every afternoon because the girls on there say she looks like Momoi Yamaguchi. Recently, I broke up with her because she told me I was becoming less and less like Sampo Yue. The original line expresses the appearance anxiety brought by the TV culture. However, such anxiety is even enhanced in the social media era. There has been a lot of theories on this, which I don't want to expand. What we want to performativity, which reduces in the torrent of digital reproduction. And we collected these emoji stickers and then generated a face morphing video with AI. And then in Touch Designer, we employed shader algorithm to recompose the mentioned footages into a look of mosaic tiles or cellular grids. And then send these shader recomposed textures to Unreal Engine as macro textures for the voxels. These images shows that a macro texture is applied to the voxels, creating a scene of the cellular cyberspace inhabited by digital human, which I think is an interesting visual metaphor that extends beyond its modern counterpart, concrete jungle. Chapter 3, since the day we broke up, I've been buying every day a self-heating hot pot with an expiration date of May 1st because hot pot is May's favorite ready-made meal, and May 1st is my birthday. I tell myself that if May hasn't come back by the time I have bought 30 pots, then our love will expire too. This chapter is about the food delivery service and gig economy evolved during the last 2 decades in China. Maybe you don't have time to dive into the details of this chapter. Basically, we collected the icons of lifestyle apps commonly used in 2020's China and wrote a web crawler to crawl the thumbnails of the recommended courses of Chongqing hotpot restaurants from the food delivery platforms. I don't know if I still have time. Okay. Yeah. So, well, since we don't have time, I'm closing in just one slide. A special thanks to our projection mapping content creation team and our coordinator, funding coordinator, and specific imagery advisor, Bao Lixin, sound design advisor, Xu Cheng, voice actor, Zheng Xiangwen. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Thank you so much. In the interest of time, we have time for 1, maybe 2 questions. Okay, this will be easy then. Yeah, I just have one comment. Did you receive, what was the feedback on this? This looks impressive. I can't imagine seeing that in real life. Did you have some impressions that you'd like to share, or was there
Yes, we did got some feedback from the Chongqing local audience and also from the jury. They told us that they assume that this is a work created by a local Chongqing team, which we are not. But it feels a kind of compliment for us, because we were trying to produce this sort of physically situated and both media situated work. We find it's a kind of a great commentary on our effort, and yeah.
I'd imagine, yeah, that was. It's a great compliment to feel like you've captured the soul of the city.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Very good. Maybe you have one question over there.
First of all, fantastic work. It looks incredible. I found myself asking, though, it seems quite grounded in like anxieties in our like time. How was it working on this for an extended time? I imagine it could either be very like cathartic to think about this topic a lot, or it could be potentially very stressful. So what was the experience like?
Yeah, we were actually trying to also capture some kind of feeling from the 1994 film. We adapted several lines, right? In that film, it was famous for, I think, the alienation feeling, living in a modern society, and then it's like 20 years after 1994, there's some more layers, more than the sort of modern and industrialized society is this maybe network society, maybe postmodern or post-industrialization society as a control, whatever, those big theories, right? And then we do want to kind of add this layer, because we adapted it, and add this layer of the postmodern society. Yes, it's kind of sort of anxious and alienated, but like not too strong. When Chinese audiences saw this work, they kind of feel also funny, because it's like kind of slightly sarcastic, and challenges the typical or classical schema of projection mapping, where the creators put a lot of minimalist abstract forms, motion graphics, and industrialized electronic music, right? That's really serious, and we are being like a funny, and in the meantime, also kind of anxious. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the answers and your questions, and we'll thank the speaker once more. And last but definitely not least, the last talk for this session is going to be given by Danlin Huang.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Ling, and today I'm showing you our project Body Oracle, speculative hieroglyphs for collective bodily awareness. And here's our team. We are from China Academy of Art, and our teacher, Mahōo Amber Hu, is there from Reality Design Lab. Today, I'd like to begin with an ancient intelligence from China, Chinese oracle body script. Over the 3,000 years ago, the people of the Shang dynasty craved a character into the turtle shells and animal bones and hated to see the crack. They believe that the crack is oracle from God. This character represents the earliest form of Chinese writing. You can see the crack on the bone. Yeah. And their most distinctive feature is that they are photographic. For example, this character. It draws an old people leaning on a can, simple yet remarkably vivid. But in our research, we noticed an interesting phenomenon. While Body Oracle script is rich with images of animal, nature, and objects, there are few characters specifically designed to represent complex human body postures. We guess it's most likely because that the face-to-face society, body language was as nature as the air. It doesn't need to be specially recorded. But this discovery led us into a speculative what-if scenario. What if, in an alternative present or an alternative world, our ancient scribes has left us with a different legacy? Those few oracle-born characters that represent human body successfully evolved into a complete system today that we can use to describe our human body postures. Our project, Body Oracle, is an attempt to turn this assumption into a tangible experiential reality. So, but why should we need such a system of body character today? Because we are facing a situation almost opposite to that of Shang Dynasty. Our communication is becoming increasingly disembodiment. We are immersed in text message, emails, and social media. Communication studies from Mahōo suggested that only about 7% of meaning comes from the actual word we said. Over half of communication means come from nonverbal clues like body language. If more than half of communication is nonverbal, it's clear that we are missing a huge piece of information in text-based digital communication. This missing may lead to misunderstanding, communication breakdowns, decreased empathy, and diminished social support and well-being. And our vocabulary, both in Chinese and English, struggle to accurately describe proprioception, the sense of our body in the space. We lacked a shared, precise vocabulary of our body, and this is the gap that Body Oracle aims to fill. So let me introduce you Body Oracle system. It consists of 3 parts: the caster for creating the Body Oracle, an archive to recording the Body Oracle, and translator to translate everybody's body into a character. First, the Body Oracle Caster is an AI installation that allows you to strike pose and create a new character in real time. To train the AI, we select body-related character for an ancient oracle-born character and use our body to simulate it and make them into a data set. So using poses, estimation, and AI image generation technology, our system can turn every body movement into a new character. Looks like ancient oracle-born in script. In this interactivity, essentially, your body writes a new character. All these created characters are stored in Body Oracle archive. This is the dictionary and museum for this new language. We even use AI to assign an imagined ancient pronunciation to each character, according to the oldest pronunciation rule of ancient Chinese language, making it feel more like a real, unearthed ancient language. We use many stone-like modeling to represent the future archaeology sense of this project. And the most crucial part of the entire system, and the one we want to highlight most, is the Body Oracle Translator. That is one I am holding now. We designed it as a handheld mixed reality device. It has a smartphone with AR devices inside. Its function is whenever you look through this mask, like this. Whenever you look through it to another people, the camera recognizes their body posture in real time, instantly display the corresponding body oracle character on the screen, and read it aloud with an ancient sounding voice. Imagine pointing at your friend. Their casual arm crossed and instantly trigger a character to appear, accompanied by a sound like "suo." And the audio invites you to repeat after it, so you can read it aloud to tell your friend how his posture pronounced like. And you can also wear it around your neck, walk around and take it up whenever you want to read other body's gesture. The mask modeling design is inspired by ancient oracle-born. Stand out from traditional AR or VR device in exhibition. Most of them keep the content inside the glass, but we make the appearance like an ancient bonds. The appearance of the translator give audience context. Wearing is this antique-like mask means you are going to see another world immediate by the new language system from the ancient intelligence. It's like possessing a rose test on for body language, allowing you to literally read another's body. We also conduct a survey after the exhibition. On the exhibition, we give our dictionary to the audience to maybe certain gesture. You will remind she of the certain character represent for it. On a personal level, creating and observing body oracle symbols has even made me more aware of my own posture and movements. I found myself paying more attention to the subtle way I sit or stand, or how a friend shrugs during a conversation, and I appreciate those small details more than ever. It's as if this project has taught me a new meaningful way of body that I can carry into my daily life. And here's my introduction. I'm from China Academy of Arts, and my works mostly focus on modern human soma aesthetics, speculative design, and XR and AI. And thank you for listening, and I really welcome any reflection on how you feel that our body and soma aesthetics could enrich our shared story of our human history. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? No, not yet. Yeah, it's fascinating. I like the creativity that's behind it, to kind of think about language visually as a character and also as a body. And I definitely agree with the body language, that it's really underrepresented in our communication. Do you think that your approach could also be used to actually analyze people's internal feelings? So you could potentially recognize the posture and then say, okay, this person is definitely feeling sad, or this is someone who's really excited. Could you already use this, or was there any indication of using it this way, or not at all?
Yeah, of course. We all believe that our body gesture represents our inside world, and at first we create this project to detect how our inside body, inside heart think, but it's really subtle because many psychoscientists have many research about it, and I think maybe in the future we will improve this project more focus on people's inner hearts, but now it just a research to humans' body posture.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, it's very difficult to have the subtleties, and also it's depends on the person as well how they move. Yeah, I think there have two questions, so I will start with this gentleman because I saw him first, but then I'll move there.
Thank you. Interesting work. I'm wondering, maybe I missed a part, but so your abstract representations of these body postures and poses, are they static or are they animated somehow?
I think our project is mainly focused on aesthetics. We want people to pay more attention to our body and what our body gesture can convey to others. Yeah.
And in between different postures, how would these representations, how would they transition? Do they transition at all?
Yeah. Yes. I think that. Pardon? Can you just repeat it?
Yes.
I didn't hear it clearly.
So I understand you created a system in which you can use an AR or VR headset in order you put it on. You can measure and estimate the posture of another person and then overlay that with an abstract representation. And my question is about that abstract representation. Is that static, or is it somewhat animated in between the different postures that you recognize?
Yeah, of course it's animated, and the character will move when your body movement changed. Yeah.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to try it after the talk, you can try it.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. So if your theory is that you can read somebody's inner emotions from their body language, do you worry that the government could use your system for surveillance to track citizens and try and read their minds? And how do you feel about that ethically?
I didn't think of it, but I think if I have said that many psychoscientists have many research about how our body movement represents our inner feeling. I think if governments want to use some data set or something, they will reach out to the scientists, but not this art program, I think. Did it answer your question?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions? Maybe. No. Okay. Just a question. Are you going to be around here now with the demo? Are you going to be? Can people try your demo anytime, or is it just now that you're going to?
Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay. So you'll be around, so people can catch you. Okay. Great. Well, thanks again to our speaker. And this concludes our session. So thank you so much for participating in the extended reality session. I'm not sure if Jürgen has any closing remarks. If not, I think you are free to go and maybe ask authors some additional questions. Thank you so much and all the best. Hope you get to see some lovely, lovely exhibits.